Yeah. And like you could be a movie star with the name Rapist Groiper. With the name like hi, nice to meet you. I'm a vengeful rapist.
Vengeful rapist groiper?
I am cock rapist.
Cock rapist from Groiper County.
From Boo County. Yeah, dude. It'd be like coming to the theater this month, The Dusty Plains, starring Rapist Hitler.
In his finest role, Rapist Hitler.
Rapist Hitler stars as Dick Murder. As Cock Disease, the cowboy.
Speaking of gay murder,
Yeah.
I watched Longlegs.
What'd you think?
I actually kind of like hated it.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
It just like for one, I really hated the lead actress.
Me too.
She seemed like just this like totally blank
Yeah.
SSRI
Yes.
trauma chick who appeared to be mewing throughout the entire movie.
I liked the mewing.
And maybe it's just that I don't really care for seeing a female character portrayed as being autistic.
That's for boys.
Sitting there being, what the hell?
That's not how girls
But
get
yeah,
it.
she was just like mewing the entire time.
Yeah.
Staring blankly at shit.
Yeah.
It seemed like it kind of had like the implication of an interesting story,
Yes.
which is that like Nick Cage is like a washed up like new wave musician
Yeah.
who has through Satanism become a pedophile murderer.
Yeah.
But it just like didn't have the balls at all to follow through with that.
No. Yeah. No.
And it's kind of like this thing like are you just like not allowed to have a character be a pedophile in a movie anymore?
No.
Because like you used to be able to.
Yep.
And it's not like it's an endorsement of pedophilia.
Well, people don't understand that anymore. Like, people don't understand that, like, depicting something and endorsing something are extremely different.
And it just like it sort of like implied this stuff,
Yeah.
but just like had zero follow through on it.
Yes.
And this is getting into like minor stuff that I was only noticing because I was so like unengaged with the story.
Yeah.
It had the laziest and most unnecessary like period setting I've ever seen.
Like mid-90s.
But the only way it had no reason to be in the mid-90s.
No, yeah.
It, like if it had been with him as a washed-up new wave guy, he
Yeah.
has this like T-Rex poster.
Yeah, yeah.
Then it would make sense.
And like Duran Duran posters and shit.
But like it didn't follow through with that at all.
I think it was just for the purpose of like no cell phones.
Yeah, but like the only way they portrayed that was by having a picture of whoever the president at the time was on the wall.
Yes.
So they have like a big Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
And then when they flash back to the 70s, they have a portrait of Richard Nixon on the wall.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the thing I noticed in like film school. I feel like there's a strong desire for young people to do like bogus period pieces in the 90s and early 2000s specifically to avoid cell phones.
Yes. But you can just do it without you can just not you don't have to have cell phones, and you can have it be modern, you know what I mean?
And then I just kind of like I thought the whole like twist at the end
Where the magic
where it's
is
like,
real.
oh, it's actually Satan.
That would bum me out
And
too.
I feel like if you're gonna do a thing where you have like Satan is real,
yeah.
like it just seems weird to me to not kind of be in like the Exorcist route where it kind of has like a religious thing,
Yeah.
but it's just the setup where like Satan is real but like God's not, and
Yeah.
it's just like he's murdering suspiciously multiracial Catholic families in the 1990s Pacific Northwest.
in the 60s through the 90s.
Yeah, look up the demographics of Oregon in the 60s.
Yeah,
Like,
Oregon farm families who are extremely biracial.
like I think it literally black people weren't allowed in Oregon until like 1970.
I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
But that's because you're looking at it as a movie.
I paid $30.
That is crazy. You have to look at it as a Nick Cage movie.
But I feel like they had, like, I like the idea of Nick Cage in prosthetics being
a pedophile rapist.
like a pedophile rapist new wave singer.
Yes,
like
yeah.
that's all cool, but I
Yeah.
feel like it barely had any.
It didn't
of
do
that.
enough of it. No.
And it didn't have like the courage of its own premises
yes.
to like follow through on any of this shit.
I agree with all that. Yeah. As a as a plot, I don't like it.
Well, I part of what made me dislike it is that like I feel like it had a cool setup.
Yeah.
And like I had watched Silence of the Lambs
Mhm.
just like a week or so before because this movie's doing so well and it was sold out, so I watched that instead. And Silence of the Lambs just like fully follows through.
Yeah,
with
like the
its
guy who
premise.
like, throws cum at her and stuff.
Yeah, and he's like a wannabe transsexual trying to make a woman's suit.
Yeah.
Who tucks his dick between his
Yeah,
legs,
yeah.
fully on screen,
Yeah.
while dancing around to the greatest sinister gay guy song of all time,
Yes.
Goodbye Horses.
Yes.
But this movie just like didn't have like the courage to go through with any of its setups.
Yes.
So the whole thing is just this like totally emotionally blank
Oh yeah.
trauma woman, and then they also like, because it kind of got packaged as like, oh, it's Silence of the Lambs meets Zodiac.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it has a ham-fisted Silence of the Lambs reference. He's in his Buffalo Bill basement.
Yeah.
And yeah, it has a ham-fisted Zodiac reference. Like he uses Zodiac words.
Yeah.
And like, oh, you guys like creepy dolls, right? Well, we got that too.
The doll shit I didn't
and
like.
and you guys like creepy nuns, right? We got that too.
Yeah.
And it just like, and I was thinking about it because to give an Armand White style, like this movie is shit, but this other thing is good.
Yeah.
I watched Lonesome Dove the other day.
Okay, I don't
you
think
ever
I've seen that.
that?
No.
It is great.
Who's in that?
It's like a 6-hour
Oh boy.
miniseries.
Oh, okay.
4-part miniseries.
Okay.
From the late 80s with Tommy Lee Jones and Robert Duvall
Respect.
and
Okay.
like Chris Cooper,
Okay, nice.
Danny Glover,
Damn.
young Diane Lane looking
Damn.
like
Nice.
great.
Yeah.
And it's like so fucking good.
Yeah.
I was saying, because you guys know how Lord of the Rings pilled I am.
Yeah.
I've been trying to find things that have the Lord of the Rings like hit,
Yeah.
and this one does.
Is it like a crime drama thing?
No, it's like Tommy Lee Jones and Robert Duvall are kind of like retired Texas Rangers
Okay.
who are running like a little cattle ranch in like southern Texas,
Cool.
and they decide to do a like a cattle run up to Montana,
Okay.
kind of like, because in their youth they were killing Comanches all the time.
Yeah.
And now like this area in southern Texas is kind of like settled,
Right.
so they want to be like the first guys to graze cattle like north of some river and
Okay.
like, go to like the uncharted lands.
Yeah.
So they rustle up like all their fellas and go on this like 3,000 mile cattle drive to Montana.
Yeah.
And there's like a white guy who plays the evil Indian.
Nice.
It's like really, really good.
Okay.
And it does have the Lord of the Rings feel in that like it's like
It's a
this
big trek.
huge epic.
Yeah.
And it's got like cool badass guys.
Yeah.
Weeping with their manly emotions.
Yes. Yeah.
And
yeah.
like instead of orcs, they have native people.
Yeah. Yeah. Who are bad?
who are bad.
Who are bad and whiny.
And the main one is it's actually the guy who is the Saucier in Apocalypse Now.
Oh, okay.
He's like very, I would guess he's like Italian.
Yeah.
But it's like him being all pudgy and fat. Wearing like no shirt with a giant fake nose as the evil Indian blue duck.
Great.
Who's a vicious rapist.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said about Longlegs. I just I think I was just I am charged up at Nick Cage's performance. I liked him a lot.
He was good. I would have liked more of him.
I wanted more. I didn't want the Stephen King shit.
A more like kind of just like
more.
like to actually dig into it, because it's like it implies all this shit, but it doesn't like follow through with anything.
And there was a lot of shit that I just kind of ignored because I was like, I don't like the doll shit. I hated. I don't like the doll. The like actual fact that he is a like wizard or whatever, I don't like.
And I think what got me onto Lonesome Dove was because like the guy who wrote, because it's based on like this book, Lonesome Dove, and the guy who wrote that was like grew up on like a cattle farm.
Okay.
And like Tommy Lee Jones grew up in like East Texas and shit, and can ride. He's really good at riding horses.
Cool.
Like he rides around on his horse. It looks like he's sitting in like a gamer chair.
Oh, sick.
Just totally.
Yeah.
But it's just like these guys actually had some like life experience that they then like brought in to like making their works.
Yeah.
But I feel like now there's just a generation of people who like their life experience for like filmmakers specifically is like going to film school, watching movies, and taking SSRIs.
Yes.
So you end up with a movie where people just blankly stare at references to other movies.
Yes, 100%. Well, you know who made Long Legs?
Some Oswald
Anthony Perkins' son.
Oh, yeah, and that's their dads.
Yeah, so it's like
were
a
in
nepo baby.
Hollywood.
Yeah. So his life is it's like there's a lot of stuff without it had like no bite, like zero bite or like edge. I just wasn't like mad. I wasn't offended. I was like I got like a fun Nick Cage performance out of it.
A lot of people seem to be liking it.
I don't think
I might be in the minority, but
no,
I
I think everything you said is extremely valid.
Seething.
Yeah, I think it's super fair.
Sitting in the theater, and I have kind of like a test when I'm not enjoying a movie. I'll kind of find myself thinking at some point in it, like 45 minutes or whatever, like if in the movie an asteroid suddenly appeared and wiped out the entire story, and it just ended, would I care?
Oh, I do that too.
And the answer was like, no.
That's what I felt seeing Beau is Afraid.
Yeah, I liked Beau is Afraid better than this.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Beau is Afraid, it was at least like kind of its own thing, even though it was a little bit of a trudge at points.
I just it's 3 hours of Jay whining.
Yeah, but I mean, it had the homeless orgy in his house.
That was good. I
cool.
like the homeless
and
orgy.
it kind of like went through with some of its premises.
A little bit, yeah. I just watching that movie, I was like, if everyone in the movie pulled out a gun and blew their head off right now, I wouldn't. I'd be like,
yeah,
all right.
That's fair.
I'd be like, that's fine. I was literally begging Joaquin Phoenix to kill himself near the end. I was like, please just blow your fucking head off. Why are we going through more of this Jay torture?
And Long Legs was like mercifully short.
Yeah,
it's about 100 minutes.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I was kind of excited for it. Because I thought Nicolas Cage as a sinister gay guy serial killer, it's going to be tight.
See, I think that's the thing. I was not very excited.
Oh, okay.
I went in like,
Yeah.
And so maybe me being like apprehensive and just being like, I got kind of what I wanted, which was like a fun Nick Cage performance, a moderately engaging story. I was like, oh, how does this wrap up?
Yeah.
And then I left. And I didn't really think too much beyond it. I was like a little bit bummed about like the Stephen King, like, well, actually, there's magic.
Yeah, actually, there's Mr. Downstairs, the real devil.
Yeah, I fucking hate.
He's got a creepy nun who's doing his murders.
Yeah, I didn't.
And creepy. He makes creepy dolls of them.
What bugged me was like as soon as they were like, oh, he had an accomplice. I was like, it's her mom.
Yeah, and then there's no other character.
And then it was her mom. I was like, oh man.
Like I think it would have been a lot better if instead of all that they had him just literally be a satanic pedophile who captures kids to have sex with and then murder them.
That is scary.
And they maybe have a lead actress who has like some charisma.
They don't make those anymore.
Well, that's the thing, because anyone who's an actor now, it's like because their dad used to be a grip in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And they've been taking pills for their whole lives.
Dude, even
the person who writes it has been taking pills and watching movies their whole lives. So you just get them be like,
look at the like top like Hollywood like actresses now. Are there any that are like swag and charismatic? Like there's no I just saw a clip of Joan Rivers the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh my god, like we're not." And it was her and Fred Durst like riffing. And I was like,
the two best ever do
she
it.
was like making fun of him. She was like, what are you going to do when you get old and you hate all these tattoos? And then Fred Durst was like, probably sneak into your house and rip all my skin off and put it on you. And then you'll freak out. I was like, wow. But I was like, we're not making new like Joan Rivers.
Because I was kind of thinking in relation to Lonesome Dove and Lord of the Rings, my two touchstones. Because those are both movies that are like chock full with like cool, charismatic actors giving like incredible performances.
Yeah.
Like Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones are both like turbo badass Texas Rangers.
Yeah.
But Robert Duvall's like the smooth talking ladies man, and Tommy Lee Jones is kind of like the uptight captain, you know.
Yeah.
And I was sort of thinking like with like Dune, which is a recent couple movies that like I liked them.
Yep.
Like they're good, they look great, like they have like excellent production value,
they
all
look
that
and
shit.
sound amazing.
But I was just thinking like with its like cast.
No
like
one
Timothy
stands
Chalamet, Zendaya, Florence Pugh,
Yeah.
Austin Butler.
Yeah.
It's like these are all totally swagless people.
Yeah, you can interchange any of those people.
Like compared to like the Lord of the Rings cast.
Who you can't drop one person, even if like like Sean Bean's character in Lord of the Rings. If it was any other actor, it wouldn't be as good.
And they're all like so like charismatic, and like they're like emotional too. Like both Lord of the Rings and Lonesome Dove have like a bunch of like men crying scenes.
Yeah.
But like you care about the characters and the actors.
Yeah.
And like Dune, even though I liked them, there's really like not a whole lot of like emotion in any of the characters.
It's more of just like, I wonder what this room will look like.
Yeah.
And they have tubs. Let's see how their bathtub,
And to be fair, the tubs look sick.
It's cool as shit.
The one exception in that is probably Stellan Skarsgård.
Yes.
Who is one of those like swagged out older actors.
Yeah.
He's probably, done some shit in his life or something. But he's like a charismatic screen presence.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's on screen in both Dunes for combined like 15 minutes.
But you feel his presence the whole time.
He steals like every scene.
Yeah. They're not like,
but like Timothy Chalamet, like
zero
I don't
swag.
really give a shit. Like,
no, like anyone else could play. That's what I like a lot about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Was it felt like, and it was not. There was like zero. Like Austin Butler was in that.
Is Austin Butler in that?
Yeah, he's one of the Manson guys who breaks in.
Oh, okay.
Brad Pitt, like his dog, like.
I mean, Austin Butler is zero. He's extremely handsome, but with like zero swag.
Negative swag.
Negative swag.
yeah. We're not making like cool, and like I was thinking about this because I saw the Joan Rivers clip, and I was like, yeah, we're not making any new Joan Rivers. No, I can't look at anyone on like the top echelon of any like actress on the top echelon of Hollywood who even has like a tenth of Joan Rivers swag.
She was so fucking cool.
She was so cool.
Again, the Obamas had to kill her.
Yeah.
Pointing out that Michelle's a man.
She was so funny and cool, and she was also like, you never saw her in some ridiculous costume at the Met Gala.
She wasn't her whole thing like making fun of them?
Yes. She was like so funny and like so just like like charismatic and swagged out.
She would have loved Chromeboys podcast.
We would have loved to have Joan Rivers on.
Unironically, yeah. She was
oh my God,
mad funny.
She's so funny, and like she's her episode of Louis is hilarious.
Did she have an episode of Louis?
He has to go to like I think he's in Vegas, and so she's there, and she has like a residency where she's doing stand up, and she's just like, yeah, whenever I take my bra off and I leave the room, my husband he sees them dragging behind me or whatever. It's like, the rules, whatever.
Yeah.
And Louis like in like the B room at the hotel, and he's just like seething because like he like hates that he's in like the B, and he's like, oh, no one comes to the show and cares. And then he goes to talk to Joan Rivers, and she's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like you're doing stand up for a living, and you're in Vegas, and you have a weekend here. Like fucking grow up. And she's like smacking him around. It's very funny, but like. Seeing that clip of Joan Rivers with Fred Durst today, and I was like, wow, like like her being like looking at like Sydney Sweeney, Zendaya, fucking
none of the kids
Pugh.
Coming up have anything going for them.
You look at like the and I think like late night shows killed it. Like late night shows made like a behavior archetype that is expected of celebrities now. Like you look at any Jimmy Kimmel interview, no one stands out as like. When like Johnny Carson would have like Rodney Dangerfield on, and everyone was like, like he's gonna go. Or like
there.
when Norm would go on, and he would like just take the piss, and everyone was like, oh, he's a real. No one now on like the Kimmel lineup is like, well, this guy's really fucking funny. You know what I mean? You watch any clip from like Kimmel or at late night, and it's always like, so you got this going on, and they're like. Yep.
Yeah, or like on the hot ones, like, so you went to high school in Indiana, and yet your dad was in Hollywood. Sorry.
And your dad owns MGM. Oh, what the hell? But there's no new like swag. Like I can't think of an actor under 40 who's like got any degree of swag, like anything close to the swag. Even Nicolas Cage has.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a couple of like old guys who are grandfathered in who are doing it.
Yeah.
Like honestly, the best movie I've seen recently was Kevin Costner's Horizon,
which he did it again. He did Waterworld again.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Oh man, it's kind of a bummer because like It has some problems,
Mm-hmm.
largely based around the fact that it's like part 1 of 4,
Yeah.
and it makes no effort to like resolve anything in part 1.
Right.
So it ends with a kind of weird like montage that I can only assume is like a trailer for part 2.
Oh, okay.
And that's like not it's a problem.
Yeah.
But it's actually like really good.
Yeah.
But it's like been flopping so hard, it's unclear what's going to happen with the next 3 parts.
Yeah.
But it was great.
Yeah.
I actually really liked it.
Costner rules.
I think a lot of the negative reviews are that like it opens with an actually like very well done Apache raid on like a settler village.
Yeah.
And it kind of like portrays violence in the Old West as like a two-way street.
Which it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I actually really liked it.
Yeah.
But of course it's fucking like flopping like crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like pretty like boomer pilled.
Yeah.
And that it had like more like old guys than I think is actually accurate
Oh,
to the Old West.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
like-
Anyone at over 56 is like
Yeah.
statistically you were at near the end of your lifespan.
And it's got like a bunch of old guys in it.
Yeah.
But it was really good.
The only good movies that I really see that like stick with me and I think about after are movies that star mostly old people.
Like I saw a thing the other day, and this was in reference to Star Wars: The Acolyte.
What is that?
It's like the new Star Wars, the woke Star Wars show that a million guys are pissed
You know,
at.
the guys who look like us are seething at.
Yeah, picture us, but
Balder.
twice as fat, twice as bald, and instead of our cool based and red-pilled studio setup,
Yeah.
bunch of baby toys.
Yeah, toys.
They hate it.
Think about our cool drip right now. Imagine
Yeah.
if we had zero swag and drip.
And we're fat and bald.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and we're on the record. I think it's like a Chromeboys editorial policy.
Mhm.
Star Wars
Gay.
always sucked.
We don't. Yeah.
Never been good.
Even George Lucas thinks that.
But I saw someone make a comment about it that I think like applies to more than just Star Wars.
Yeah.
And they were saying that like the original Star Wars movies drew in all these different influences
Mhm.
from like, like westerns and samurai movies and like adventure like serial movies and
yeah.
like detective and like they
It
drew
was
in
like-
all these influences.
Yeah, like cheap, like schlock.
But now like the new Star Wars movies, their influence is just Star Wars.
Yes.
And I think you can kind of like expand that out.
Yeah.
That like the Lonesome Dove guy brought like experience of being
A human being.
basically a cowboy.
Yeah.
And, like having a life and living on
Mhm.
like a ranch. And you get like Tommy Lee Jones who like grew up on like some horse
Yeah.
ranch. So it's like
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
doing his own fucking stunts. Like
Yeah.
breaking in horses
Yeah.
on screen and stuff. So it's like at one point the people who were like making movies and like writing books and shit had life experience to bring into that.
Yes.
But then now it's people who like their whole life experience is just
Hollywood.
watching movies and taking pills.
I think that you can literally track that in the Coen brothers' career.
Like how so?
Like you look at like their early movies up until I'm going to say Inside Llewyn Davis, they have like life experience and the movies are like relatable and good and very fun and like stand well on their own.
Yeah.
And then you look at like Hail Caesar and you're like, what the fuck? Like everything post like 2013, it's like I can't think of a Coen brothers movie.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought Hail Caesar was. I think in like the grand scheme of things, it's like okay.
But compare it to like Big Lebowski.
But
Inside Llewyn Davis even was like a 10 out of 10.
Low on the Coen brothers scale.
Yeah.
It's like pretty
Fargo.
close to the bottom.
You know?
Yeah, Fargo, Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Barton Fink.
Fucking No Country for No Country for
Country.
Old Men.
Yeah.
It's like everything like you can literally track when their influences started becoming just movies in
School
Hollywood.
in No Country, Tommy Lee Jones is basically an older version of his character. From
Yeah, right. I
Lonesome
was gonna
Dove.
say yeah.
It's
Yeah.
basically that same character
Yeah.
after he gets old.
Right.
But like, oh man,
Like you can and then look at like
you guys gotta. I don't know if like if like Americans are more familiar. 'Cause I'd never heard of it.
yeah.
But I was over at Buddy's house, who's from the States.
Mm.
He had it on
Alan?
DVD. Yeah,
Respect.
friend of the show, Alan.
Alan.
Where I go to watch Lord of the Rings every night after
Every-
work.
You're gonna go after this.
After this, I'm gonna head over there, watch the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy.
But,
But
like
apparently, Lonesome Dove was a staple on American television.
hmm.
I'd never heard about it. It
Yeah.
made me feel patriotic for America.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
of course.
So maybe our American listeners are more familiar with it. But if you're not, and you, like me, are seeking the Lord of the Rings epic adventure hit, you could do worse than Lonesome Dove. And
that's not to say there's nothing to be granted by, or no merit, but say what you want. You know, guys who bring life experience to make movies, even Mel Gibson. You know,
being an anti-Semite in Hollywood.
That's why Apocalypto's so sick. But like, there's, I mean, and again, movies were better also when elderly Jewish pedophiles were writing them.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, a lot of people, we're founders of the Harvey Weinstein Innocence Project.
Yes.
A lot of people shit on Harvey Weinstein, but the man made hit after hit.
He knew what was a good movie.
He put attractive women in his movies.
Yes.
So he could have sex with them.
And he did pick good ones. Like the Weinstein Company from like 1990 to like 2006 did drop nothing but bangers.
So often I'll watch some movie that fucking slaps.
Yeah.
And at the end,
Weinstein
Company. And it's like, or Miramax.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Even Lord of the Rings, I think, has the Weinstein Company pop up.
I think so.
Yeah.
And he gave us he was the guy who like took a chance on Quentin Tarantino and funded Reservoir Dogs.
And you know what? To my knowledge, he didn't even do anything wrong.
Legally speaking, no.
Have I looked into it deeply? No.
I know he had one charge dropped.
So I assume they're all totally bogus.
Totally lies. But like,
Free Harvey, give Harvey his job back. Give Kevin his career back.
That's the other thing that like is sort of tangentially related, where like every modern filmmaker's influence is like it's now just movies. You look at it even with like auteur cinema theory, you know, where like up until 2010, it was like when you heard like there was a director's name attached to a movie, you were like, damn, I cannot wait to see what this guy's doing. And it's like it's so like original and swag, like Scorsese, Tarantino, fucking Lars von Trier, Nick Winding Refn. Like you're like charged up.
A lot of those guys are pretty like done at this point.
Yeah, and now like you look at like new people, and they've watched nothing. Like new directors, like what's her name, Emerald Fennell, the Saltburn chick, who's done nothing but take pills and watch movies, and it's so clear that like her desperation to be video essayed.
Yeah.
To be like. Have some British guy be like, here's my dissection of Saltburn, and it's like this long 4-hour video. Her like desperation for that to happen is so transparent. It's like, please video essay me.
Yeah. Well, and
I think Longlegs is guilty of that as well.
I guess. I don't know what I would video essay about that. I guess I'm video essaying right now. That
I think Longlegs is guilty of wanting like I think it's guilty of wanting one of those like 10 things you might have missed in Longlegs.
Right. This is actually a reference to Annabelle.
Yeah.
This is actually a reference to The Nun.
I think it's guilty of
this
that.
Is actually a reference to Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
This is a reference to Zodiac.
That's what it wants, I think.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I don't even know who's like good. I like Robert Eggers.
Yeah.
He's a guy who I'm reasonably hyped.
How old is he?
He's like young-ish or new-ish.
Yeah, I suppose.
And then there's S. Craig Zoller I really like, but he's like too base for people to give him money.
What has he done? I've heard that name.
He did Bone Tomahawk.
Oh yeah,
which was great.
Yes.
And Brawl on Cell Block 99.
Oh Jesus,
which was great.
Yeah.
And Dragged Across Concrete, which was great.
Holy shit, yeah, he's really good.
So he's only had 3, and then he like the company that was giving him money, like fell apart in some Me Too scandal. Not related to him, but to his Jewish funder.
his Israeli money.
It fell through, so he's been having a hard time like getting movies put together.
Yeah,
but he is actually like good.
Yeah,
and has like a pretty like distinctive style.
Yes,
of like horrific violence and
extremely
cruelty.
Yeah, but like, Robert Eggers, I think, is good. I think Ari Aster should get fucking kidnapped. Probably.
Get kidnapped. I liked Midsommar the one time I saw it.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I think Hereditary is like fine.
Hereditary I didn't really enjoy.
I don't love it.
And I saw Midsommar one time, and it was at the Princess 2.
Oh, great place to
which
see
for
a
those
movie.
who don't know was like the basement of a now closed like historical theater.
Yeah.
They had a basement former porn theater.
Yes.
Where it was like a very small auditorium.
Yeah.
And like any movie that you watched there would
Was-
get like plus like 3 out of 10.
Yes.
Just because it made for a really good experience.
It was the best.
And I saw the one time I've seen it, it was there.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it.
It's great to see a movie
Um,
there. I saw The Green Knight there. I hated The Green Knight. Loved it there.
Yeah, The Green Knight was one that I saw it multiple times in theaters because came out when I was like really desperate to go to theaters.
Yeah.
And now I'm so black-pilled on movies, like I
Yeah.
may never go to a new movie in theaters again.
I don't think I would.
But
I might to see Nosferatu.
Yeah, but like at the time I was like leading into COVID, I went to the movies like all the time.
Me too. Yeah.
And I was like desperate to go see movies. So, like any movie that came out during COVID,
Yeah.
I would like go to the
Yeah.
anti-vax Leduc theater.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, like I saw Green Knight a couple times in theaters, and I actually I hate it.
I remember
It's bad.
when you first saw it, you liked it. I hated it.
It was one that like soured over time.
Yeah.
The more I thought about it, the more I disliked it.
Yeah. There's just a bunch of like weird gay little tricks that like modern filmmakers will do to come off like they're artsier than they are.
Yeah.
And that movie's very guilty of a lot of them. Like showing the title in multiple fonts really quickly
Yeah.
pisses me right off.
That was one where like I did like it at first, and then I
Yeah.
saw it, I think twice in theaters, maybe even 3 times. And it did sour on me. And it's
Yeah.
one where the more I thought about it, the less I liked it.
Yeah.
And like the whole, I don't know, it's sort of like anti-civilizational themes.
Yeah. And it's, if I'm not wrong, it's by the guy who made Ghost Story,
Which I liked.
which is great.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah.
And he did The Old Man and the Gun, too, which was pretty good.
Yeah. So it was like a real, and that's when I
But-
first started being like, oh, maybe A24 like stinks, wicked bad.
Although for those COVID movies, The Northman was another one I saw in theaters multiple times.
Yeah, I never saw that one.
And that one just got tastier and tastier
Yeah.
over time.
Yeah, Robert Eggers is like very good.
Yeah, and I feel like with him at least, like it does have references to movies, but I feel like he's also just like into history.
Yes.
So like
Very,
the thing that I
artistic
really liked in The Northman is how it like it sort of operated off like Viking morality.
Yes.
Where like in the first 15 minutes you see the hero of the movie rape and pillage a town
Yeah.
and lock the like children in a hut and set it on fire.
Yeah.
And he's the hero.
Yeah. Well, that's like that was like Clint Eastwood. Did you ever see a High Plains Drifter?
I have not.
It was Clint. It might have been the first movie he directed, but it was like it was 1975. He was like in Italy, like doing all of his turbo banger westerns
Sure.
by the Wops.
Yeah.
Him and the Guineas were making the
The
greatest westerns of all time.
Wopsterns. I call them Wopsterns.
Yeah, some Jewish screenwriter with a tracheotomy. Yeah, actually, I call them Wopsterns because they're so fucking greasy. It's the greasiest movie I've ever seen. Why? What's wrong with just a little classic romance in a movie between a 56-year-old man and a 17-year-old actress?
Unironically, yes. That's something that Lonesome Dove has in spades. It has an ancient Robert Duvall with a pristine young Diane Lane romance. And it's beautiful.
Well, like,
Actually, it's kind of traumatic.
well, the casting in Hollywood was so funny back then because it was like, okay, well, for the guy roles, we need the best guy for the job. And for the girl roles, we need the hottest girl. We don't care if she's good. We need the hottest girl and the best guy actors.
Diane Lane was both.
Yes. But, what was I talking about?
But yeah, they have a romance between those two that's probably got a 40-year age gap.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That was just normal back then, though. It
Yeah.
was so common.
Well, she was so traumatized by being raped by Indians.
Oh, she was so happy to see white people.
Specifically Robert Duvall.
But like, what was I about to say? The High Plains Drifter. Like, yeah, it was his like directorial. I think it was the first movie he directed, and it was in Italy with a bunch of non-English speaking people. And it's like a fucking, it's like a homeless guy's dream. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
Like the mayor of the town is this like little dwarf who like everyone like bullies, and like one of the first scenes in the movie, he like comes to town, and the whole town's like, oh wow, like he's like already playing off the trope of like the man with no name.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, oh my god, like you're here, we need you to save the town. And he like goes into the barber shop and like shoots 2 guys in the head and then rapes somebody. It's like, whoa. And then they're like, we still love you and need you to help us.
Yeah.
So his plan is to paint all the buildings in the town red and put on the sign outside that says "Welcome to Hell,"
Hell
like
yeah.
like psychologically torment this group of bandits with this like weird little midget guy who like is so crazy and funny.
Sounds dope.
But like, can you
Is that
imagine?
Clint Eastwood like directed one or just he was in it?
He was in it and directed it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and it like rules. It's a very like cool, good movie. But like, I really don't think like now that type of like gratuity and like weirdness is out. And like,
What's the thing in like Long Legs, which I assume is like R or
I
like
think so.
18A
Yeah.
or whatever. I mean,
Mhm.
it has some like gory bits,
yeah,
but I assume it's like R.
yeah.
And even in that, they can't just be like, yeah, he's a pedophile.
No, our R has like rated R doesn't mean the same
It's
thing.
like you
anymore.
can't have pedophiles. You can't have like racists.
Accurate racism.
Like you can't have like everybody knows that these are things.
I hate, by the way, I hate as a trope in like modern shit, the like it's the like Yale grads idea of racism where like you'll see it in like new like sci-fi stuff, like a blue guy will see like a green guy and be like, "Oh, get out of here, greenie." It's like you guys have never you guys clearly
real racists have podcasts where they
It's just like-
see
that never happens. Like no one sees
Yeah.
well, people do, I guess, but like that's not how it like casually looks in modern society. Where like a Mexican guy will walk in and be like, "Hey, get out of here, beaner."
yeah.
Hey, oh, get this beaner out of here, you know?
Yeah, and they'll always use kind of like weird terms.
I hate that glip glorp dude, that stupid glorpy blue guy. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not how it looks. Like it's systemic and good. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it's like I that's like as a trope I despise that like it's like what you'd call like Borderlands racism.
Apparently there's a Borderlands movie coming out. I saw a poster out.
Yeah, with Kevin Hart. It's gonna be the funniest movie of the summer.
It's got Kevin Hart,
Yeah,
and he's only in good movies.
it's him and Jack Black.
Really?
Ultimate comedy
Did you
team
see
up.
how Jack Black betrayed his oldest friend?
Kind of. What did he do?
It was like after the Trump shooting,
Mm-hmm.
they were doing a Tenacious D concert, which was probably frickin' hilarious.
So funny. Which was probably so funny.
And
Hold on. That Tenacious D concert was probably so funny. Probably hilarious. Dying, everyone crying, laughing, red face, sweating. So funny. Oh, a bunch of guys who look like Jack Black because they've no young people in the crowd at all. Just guys who look like Jack Black, laughing, crying, sweating, and
on
stinky.
stage and in the crowd, all
Such a
Jack Black looking ass fucking guys.
Yeah.
But in some way, in reference to the Trump shooting, Kyle Gass, who's Jack Black's
Yeah.
like oldest friend and collaborator,
Yeah.
who said like, next time I hope they don't miss.
Okay.
And so Jack Black has like canceled Tenacious D and said he's not like working with that guy anymore. Which is, like, I really don't like. I've seen there's been a lot of like, this is the thing that kind of bugs me when you like wade into like political debate.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much of people like accusing the other side of hypocrisy,
That's the worst.
and it's so like blindingly obvious that nobody's being hypocritical. It all revolves around the friend-enemy distinction.
Yes.
So it's like, yeah, I want bad things to happen to my enemies and good things to happen to my friends.
Yeah.
So like all the like kind of like performative like he said he wanted Trump to get shot. It's like, yeah,
Sure.
obviously.
Yeah.
We all knew. Everybody knows that. It's just it's not like hypocrisy.
No.
It's just that like people are in camps. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you want good things to happen to your friends and bad things to happen to your enemies? Like,
I love-
hypocrite much?
I hope blue people suffer. Team Green for life.
Yeah, and so like I don't give a shit if Kyle Gass.
Also, who the fuck cares what the fucking guy from Tenacious D thinks about politics?
But I think it is kind of shameful that Jack Black would like
Well, because like, who do you think you're scoring points with?
I think it's that he needs to play Bowser in the Mario sequel.
Yeah.
But I think it's way worse that he would like betray his friend for saying that than that his friend said that.
A billion, like in terms of like a moral scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like we said, there's nothing wrong with calling for the death of a political figure.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Even though personally, I'm glad that Trump matrix dodged the bullet and looked epic.
I personally am happy about it. I don't think there's anything wrong with hoping.
But if Kyle Glass would prefer that his brain exploded on live TV,
I go,
that's just not your opinion.
If that's
man.
what he says, I go, well, at the end of the day, you're the guy from Tenacious D, and I'm not. So who's really winning?
But yeah, I think that's
That's like horrifically
pretty lame on Jack Black's part.
That's like biblical levels of like shame.
Yeah.
To not like stand by your.
That's like what's his name, Ron McLean from Hockey Night in Canada, stabbing Don Cherry in the back.
Yeah.
The guy who made your whole existence.
You can't. You really can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to.
Like, I think loyalty to your friends is more valuable than like an opinion.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what happens when celebrities like become too much of like. I fucking hate this, by the way. This like this syndrome that like certain celebrities get, where it's like, oh, he's everybody's favorite guy. Like Jeff Goldblum has that. Jack Black has that.
It's Reddit.
Yes. Henry Cavill has that, and I don't even hold it against him because he's actually a based
with
misogynist.
Henry Cavill, it's that he's a gamer.
Yeah. But it's like
and when you get into gamers on the friend-enemy distinction, friend.
Always.
I'm friend of gamer.
Yeah.
I am friend of gamers.
How? Years ago, the white man came. They brought with them a tribe of gamers.
My brother, you appear to be a gamer.
I am a Comanche. Perhaps there's more between us in common than there is different.
But yeah, Henry Cavill, you know, Henry Cavill's cool, though he also has an annoying fan base. Same like Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
He has like, he's too much of like an it guy.
I think none of the other guys, Jeff Goldblum has absolutely let it get to him, but like,
well, Jeff Goldblum uses it to
for pussy.
Have sex with teenagers.
Oh, what are you in high school? Oh, hey, have you seen me on Reddit? Oh,
have you seen Jurassic Park? It was very popular.
Tell your parents you met me. Oh.
I'm 56 years old, but I
look at my
wearing
outfit.
a leather jacket.
Look at how tight my jeans are. Ooh.
You probably don't see guys my age wearing jeans this tight.
Look at that. That's a Bape hoodie I have.
How old did you say you were?
Just 18. Great. Tell your mom you met me. Like a lot of those, they have the like, it was everyone's favorite guy, and some of them let it get to them. I think Jack Black let it get to him, and I think Jeff Goldblum let it get to him.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves like looks homeless and like smokes cigs on the, like out. He just seems to walk around and like rip cigs and like eat like eat like big like bodega sandwiches.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, by all accounts, he's a nice guy. That's why Reddit likes him so much.
Yeah. Like some of them are fine. Like I just think it like if you see that too much online, like if you're too into your own ism, like Jack Black, I guarantee is like constantly searching Twitter, Jack Black.
Yeah.
And being like, what's happening?
Yeah.
Oh no, people are saying I'm gay and annoying.
True. Fact check, true.
Fact checkers have found this is completely accurate. Oh, that's why I don't have Twitter. I pay my girlfriend to run it. Oh, I pay black teenagers to tweet funny stuff from my account.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum paying funny black teenagers to tweet stuff from his account.
Going the Joe Biden method.
Ooh.
How old did you say you were? Have you seen The Fly?
That was Cronenberg. Tell your dad about him. Ooh. Tell your parents you met me.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I really don't like a lot of those actors that people are like, oh, everyone loves it. He's so awesome. He's so rich and successful, and he's a good guy.
Yeah. I can't. I remember I had an in to this point I wanted to make, but I can't remember what my in is. So I'm just going to awkwardly jump to it.
Yeah.
But there's been all this like discourse about media literacy.
Yes.
Which is unbearably stupid.
Bug lingo.
And I saw one the other day that was like the most glaring one I've seen.
Yeah.
Where somebody said that Fight Club was a satire of masculinity and cults.
Nope.
And
nope.
It's just like...
It's not. It's like when they say The Matrix is about being trans.
Yeah, well, and for like Fight Club specifically, I'm pretty sure like Chuck Palahniuk, when he heard that like people were actually starting up fight clubs, was like, cool.
Nice.
Sick.
Because,
It's this like, and I've seen a bunch of them, like, it's really seemed to kick off around the release of Helldivers and then in relation to Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
But it's been kind of like metastasizing along since then.
Yeah.
But it's just this sort of like attitude. And I saw it with Lord of the Rings too, where people were being like, Lord of the Rings, it's about
being gay with your friends.
The ring being a metaphor for power. And it's just like this attitude that like any like piece of art is like a riddle to be solved.
And like able to be retroactively applied to your like modern ideology.
Well, and it's just that it's sort of like you can get this one line and you figure out, oh, it's a metaphor for X.
Yes.
And that's what it's about.
That like obtuse, I think it's like a problem with video essays.
Yeah.
That's like a byproduct
where it's like
of
you can break it down like, oh, well, this means that, and it's
Yeah.
a metaphor for this.
And I think Longlegs is guilty of that too.
But
that level of like essay baiting.
Like I feel like when like a like a work, be it like a movie or a book or whatever, is like good.
Yeah.
It kind of like creates another world.
Yeah.
And it like creates like characters who you can kind of like invest in.
Yeah.
And like you travel along with them. And like you see things from their perspective, and you like feel things from their perspective, and it's just like more than just being like boiled down into like Lord of the Rings is a metaphor for power.
Yeah, maybe sometimes it's about a fucking journey.
Yeah, and it's like you like experience things like outside of yourself.
Sometimes it's literally just like a window into like a different thing you might not have experienced otherwise.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just that, and that's fine.
But I feel like especially when you have when the creators themselves like ascribe to this theory that like a work of art is like a clear-cut metaphor for one thing, you get dog shit.
Yes,
you know? But if you can like create something where even if you like you don't have it's not a clear-cut like message baked into everything.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
But you just like create these like characters who people can like engage with.
Yeah.
Then they like feel and experience through those characters.
Yeah.
And then you get the Reddit video essayists. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But you just have to keep in mind that they don't know what they're talking about.
Here's why Friends is actually about social engineering.
Social engineering.
Here's why The Office is about workplace sexual politics.
But yeah, when I saw Fight Club is a satire of masculinity.
No, it's not. It's about how being a guy rules.
Because it's like, it's not like a satire in that movie that Brad Pitt is fucking cool.
No. No, if they were making if it was a satire, Brad Pitt wouldn't unironically be cool
like, he's
and swag.
clearly fucking cool.
Yeah. And if it was a satire, his ideology wouldn't be so agreeable. If it was a satire, like the way he feels about things wouldn't be so like, palatable and like understandable.
You watch Brad Pitt, it's like, man, I can't believe he's pulling off those clothes.
I can't believe he's rocking a mesh shirt and a leather jacket.
And looks awesome.
And he looks so swag.
And like it's clearly like appealing to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's like a huge hit. A lot of people like they watch it and they're like, whoa, cool.
Yeah.
And like some of them did start their own fight clubs.
Cool.
Most of them didn't.
They just were like, they cared about their job a little less, maybe.
It's not like a satire of masculinity. It's like a representation of like a facet of masculinity.
Yes. It's like hyper masculine. It's not saying everyone should be this, but it's like a part of.
And just this notion that the whole thing is like a satire, which is like I think a horrifically it's a concept that should be like excised.
Yes.
The concept of satire.
There's nothing to satire anymore. The world is, it's like, I mean, this is like a gay ass hack point, but like nothing is funnier than reality anymore.
Yeah.
There's nothing funnier than gay Hitler being a guy.
Yeah, a real guy.
A real guy who exists. Well, I'm going to make a satire? No. If I wrote a satire about old-timey names, I wouldn't write something as funny as gay Hitler.
Gay Hitler.
You know what I mean? I'd come up with a name that's like not as funny as just the real guy's name, which was gay Hitler.
But it's
But look at like zone of
interest.
Not even like the fact there's a World War II movie with no Hitler.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you see that movie?
No. Don't wanna.
Yeah.
Don't give a shit. You said it was like Trent Reznor's dream, and I went, no, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it like the sound design is like, well, it's sort of in the Dune thing where it's like it's got technical aspects that are like impressive.
Don't care.
But it's like it's watching a lady do housework.
Yeah, I'm good.
While spooky sound design plays.
I'm good. I'm good. Also, I've had enough. I know what really happened during that war. That war.
Yeah, I've seen the YouTube documentary.
I know it was more like 130 trillion Jews that died, actually.
Yeah. Actually, it was 12 million.
Yeah. That was one of our first bits, was hitting on a Jewish girl by being like, actually, I think it was 10 million. I think it was 50 million.
Yeah.
Hitting on Jewish girls by being like, I'm so sorry that 100 trillion Jews died during the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, media literacy, like...
just the concept. Don't try and be media literate.
No, fucking... Honestly, the best thing you can do if you're, like... If everything else... If all other aspects of your life are sorted, and you have a job and a place to live, and you're clean and not visually upsetting...
Yeah.
Now you want to move on to personality?
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is not watch internet content about art.
Well, because it's just like, with one of... I'm not even joking here. One of my favorite movies, Titanic.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any value in, like, trying to be like, oh, it's like a satire of wealth inequality.
Yeah.
Like, the value of that movie is, like, beyond all, like, the sort of, like, spectacle and, like, the production value and excitement and stuff.
Yeah.
It's that, like, you go on, like, an emotional journey with these characters.
Yeah.
That's, like, it lets you experience, like, a part of, like, being human.
Yeah.
Like, outside of yourself.
Well, that's like the fucking thesis of Lord of the Rings, is that the journey is often more important than the destination.
Because, like, what the ring is a metaphor for is totally irrelevant. Like, the value in that movie is the shit, like, the relationship between Sam and Frodo.
That's why movies aren't like 20 minutes where it's a setup and an ending. That's why a movie has a plot. It's because the journey is important.
Yeah, and it's like feeling, and that's part of what I didn't like in Longlegs. It was so, like, devoid of any, like, emotion or, like, feeling.
Nothing. Yeah.
Because it's got this, like, SSRI trauma lady.
Yeah.
Which I'm not like a huge horror guy.
Yeah.
But my impression is like horror has been totally taken over as like trauma metaphors.
It's
and
all
narratives.
yeah, because there was a couple of good, like the Babadook was pretty good.
I'm sure there's some good ones.
But there came a thing where there was a movement of like trauma horror where the monster is my divorce.
Yeah.
The monster that sucks my toes at night is my divorce.
I just feel like, especially like, if you're an audience and you misinterpret something or you have some stupid interpretation, whatever.
Who cares?
But it's like the people making it.
Yeah.
When they are under the impression that it's all about getting a clear-cut one-to-one metaphor for some social issue,
mm-hmm.
like the value of this stuff, I think, is like to like relate to the characters, or not even to like relate to them as in like, oh, it's me, it's literally me.
Yeah,
it's that like you experience something outside of yourself.
That's why like Crimes of the Future rocked so hard, is because the plot was sort of whatever, but like the journey through this like weird dystopian bug world was so cool.
And it had a few, because you don't have to have an emotional like Titanic, Lord of the Rings thing. There's a lot of ways a movie can be good.
Mm-hmm.
With like Crimes of the Future, for me, it's that it had a few images that'll just be like seared into my mind forever. Like the digestion chair. I will never forget the digestion chair.
The weird little like bug shell controller for the surgery machine. Like all that rules.
And just like the concept of like people evolving to digest plastic waste.
Yeah, it had a bunch of shit. Like that's what Cronenberg is really good at.
Cronenberg's kind of unique example because
Yeah.
his movies are so specific to him.
Yeah.
Which is also a thing. Nobody else should be allowed to do body horror.
No. Nope.
That's his thing.
Him and Luca Guadagnino should only be allowed to do body horror.
Would you say Luca Guadagnino does body horror?
He did Suspiria, which had some great moments of
I
body
wouldn't
horror.
really call that body horror.
Not fully, but it had a lot of
It had some cool
good
body-based
yeah,
horror.
like,
Yeah,
a lot of
I mean,
good moments. Like,
like
he
the
should
dancer chick getting crunched up. Was
he should
cool.
only be doing that. He shouldn't be making movies about Zendaya tricking guys into kissing.
Well,
He should only be allowed to make movies about people's bodies getting fucked up. That was awesome.
yeah.
He stop letting when he comes to you and he goes, "I have a new script," and you go, "What is it?" And he goes, "It's a black girl tricking guys into kissing."
into a kiss.
You say, "No, Luca, go write something about some guy's body getting fucked up."
Have you seen that movie?
No.
No, nor have I.
Challengers?
It might be one of those ones that's like secretly actually it's good.
If you're media literate, you know that Zendaya tricking guys into kissing is a metaphor for how actually Fight Club, it's a parody of Fight Club.
Yeah, it's like kind of like an inverse satire parody of Fight Club and about masculinity and cults.
I promise you that video essay exists.
I'm sure.
Here's why Challengers is
I'm
anti-Fight
sure.
Club. Yeah.
But yeah, every now and again I'll see like a trailer for some movie. It's like a body horror thing.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Nope.
You're not David Cronenberg because he is such like a specific, icy cold style. Like he is kind of a guy who gets by without having like emotional movies.
No, yeah.
And I feel like people referencing him is one of those things. It's like a local band trying to imitate Gigi Allen.
Yes.
By like assaulting the crowd. It's like it's not gonna work because unfortunately you don't have
the swag
to pull this off.
Yeah.
And he's a guy who actually can pull off like an icy blank stare person.
Yeah. Nick Winding Refn is the same way. He does great like icy stare quiet movies.
Yeah, and it's like some people can make that work because they have like such a strong like kind of like
worldview.
Like philosophical view or like even like aesthetic sensibility.
Yeah.
But if you just have some bland
if you're the son of the best guy at making body horror, make fucking comedy, dude.
Yeah, fucking Brandon Cronenberg.
Shoot porn. Don't make fucking the same thing your dad did, but gayer and artsier.
I think nobody should even bother attempting body horror.
He's the best one.
It's his genre.
He owns it.
Yeah.
He owns it hard.
Because I don't think, like, I really wouldn't call Suspiria body horror.
Not really. But it's like those were such highlights of it. That
it has some cool bodies being fucked up in horrific ways.
All the like weird old witches at the end and stuff. Like that should be all he's doing.
Yeah.
Is weird gross shit.
Yeah.
Gross.
Instead of like gay chick in the movie.
Yeah. Instead of Gay for Pussy the movie. Instead of gay chicken or literally gay sex for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Don't make that. Make just Suspiria type shit.
Yeah, Suspiria 2.
There's 3 of them in the Dario Argento series.
There?
Yeah, so he could remake. He should be.
He has some new one. I forget what it was, but he has some new one he's announced. I think also with Zendaya or something. You kind of got a feel for these movie guys. It's like it's not like they have a ton of like good
crop to pick from,
like good young actors to choose from.
No, there's nobody with any degree of.
They have a bunch of like nepo baby pill heads.
Yeah, yeah. And this is another thing I hate about movie discussion. People often misinterpret good acting. They misinterpret screaming as good acting.
Yeah, or just like crying.
Yeah.
I see that on X.com all the time. Like it'll be a screenshot of some actor crying and be like, how did they not get an Oscar for this?
You know what's unironically some of the best acting you'll ever see in your life?
What's that?
Jim Carrey in The Mask.
Yeah.
That's good acting.
Yes.
Jim Carrey being like so into that role. Someone stop me! Like
someone stop me.
That's good acting because if you're 0.01% less swagged and into that role, it's the gayest thing of all time.
Yeah, you're looking at The Mask too.
yeah, exactly. Like you want to talk about like what is actually good acting? Yeah, Jim Carrey in The fucking Mask is good acting.
Oh, okay. Luca Guadagnino's next movie, gay romance separate rooms.
It's called Separate Rooms.
Is Luca Guadagnino even gay?
I think he just likes twinks. Well, he's Italian.
I'm sure this like
He just keeps writing movies about boys kissing. Stop, man. Make spooky stuff, please.
Oh, okay, never mind. I guess his partner is Fernando Cito Filomorino.
A man.
A man.
No. He shouldn't make gay movies, though.
Well, I mean,
he's like leagues better at making horror movies.
I was under the impression that he was a straight guy who just was really into movies about boys kissing. But if he actually is gay, I'll give him more of a pass on that.
Sure, but it's like it's such a.
I was genuinely under the impression he was just an Italian man who was really into movies about boys kissing,
like tweens kissing.
Yeah,
well, like
yeah.
He's Suspiria is like such a uber banger that he should just be making horror, because horror is so dry for right now.
Yeah,
like his voice in horror.
We need Luca Guadagnino making the sinister gay guy movies.
Him directing,
like Luca Guadagnino's Long Legs,
starring Kevin Spacey,
probably would have been good. Yeah, Kevin Spacey as the detective. Nick Cage can stay in his role,
yes.
But we see, ultra explicit gay pedophile sex.
Kevin Spacey,
and in Long Legs, I think he's making an inverted triangle.
That stuff was all
That
nonsense.
was so stupid.
The
birthday shit.
Kevin Spacey as the detective,
as the young detective,
like looking through the he's looking through the photographs of the crime scene. And he's going, "Oh no,
it's so hot."
Well, we can't have this, can we? like when she's hearing him talk, she's like, "Does he like this?"
Just looking at like pictures of, because in this version it's young boys he's killing.
Yeah.
He's just looking at the pictures, like he's obviously sexually attracted to them. all his victims are so sexy.
Why would you not? Obviously, they're being picked on looks. Like,
and the black FBI captain being like, "What do you have, like ESP or something?"
What do you? Yeah, his little advantage is that he's also a gay.
Clearly, he's choosing sexy boys.
Oh, it's all their birthday.
If you send me to the pool, I'll be able to pick out his next victim.
I show me a line of mugshots, and I'll point you to who the guy is. And then it's a bunch of random guys and one dude in fucking makeup. And he's like, "That's the killer."
Yeah, the guy in like white face makeup.
The guy with lipstick on. Like,
yeah, dressed like a fucking extra from Cruising.
Yeah,
it's him.
Yeah, it's him versus a bunch of like racist Mexicans. That's the killer.
That's the killer there.
And then when Nick Cage, like when they do the interrogation, and Nick Cage is like, "There he is," and he's like, "There you are."
And then they kiss.
Yeah, and Luca Guadagnino goes, "And the cut."
And then you a kiss.
Now you kiss, and the rest of the movie, sex. It's just he made one. It's also funny to be like a gay movie director.
I'm honestly stunned
that he's gay.
Yeah. I don't know where I got the idea that he like had a wife and stuff and was just some straight Italian man with a kind of suspicious interest in boys kissing.
A very suspicious body of work.
I legit had that idea in my mind. I like my false memory that probably some enemy implanted in me was that I had looked this up and saw that he like had a wife, and I was like, "Oh, that's weird. He has so many movies about boys kissing."
Imagine, I think it's funny that he's like a gay man who makes movies almost exclusively about boys kissing. And the one time he makes a movie about women, it's about how they're like vicious and kill each other. Like monstrous bitches who like eat each other. All his other movies are about how guys are great and should fuck. And even
one woman movie.
And how it's okay to be 35 and fuck like 15-year-old boys. But But his movie about
reframed everything.
and his movie about women living together devolves into like a witch cult where everyone's dead.
Yeah, they're evil and monstrous.
Who keep killing. Oh boy.
Yeah.
How long are we? We gotta be.
Probably, yeah.
We gotta be well over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's steamy down here.
It's hot. It's hot. You gotta tell your friends to join the Patreon, guys.
Join the Patreon. We're moving studios.
We're moving. We rented a space in Los Angeles. It's $6,000 a month.
I'm under arrest for based podcasting. Under the Kamala regime, I'm under arrest. So I'm going to have to podcast from fields.
I'm going to a FEMA camp for skinny fat guys.
Yeah. Skinny fat camp.
Yeah. Kamala's sending me to skinny fat camp.